Welcome to the weekly Kashmir University Video Digest Quest. First, a look at the highlights. Kashmir University felicitates Professor Ramshoo. Students debate causes of September 2014 floods. Allama Iqbal Library observes Librarians Day. And we also have some important notifications. Now the details with your host Musa Hayat. Kashmir University felicitated Professor Shakil Ahmed Ramshoo, head of the Earth Sciences Department, for being awarded the prestigious Geoscience Award. Heads, deans, directors, senior faculty members and officers of the university attended the felicitation function. Dean Academic Affairs Professor Muhammad Ashraf Wani, while presenting welcome address, appraised participants about the award that Professor Ramshoo got.
The award is in recognition of the contribution made by him in the application of remote sensing and GIC in earth and environmental sciences. He has more than 100 articles published in national and international journals. The objective of this award, which was conferred on him, is to honor individual and teams of scientists for their extraordinary achievements and outstanding contribution in the field of fundamental and applied geosciences to provide incentive for striving towards excellence. The award carries a cash prize of rupees 2 lakhs besides a certificate, citation and a trophy. It is quite heartening to say that much of the work for which he received recognition, national and international recognition, was done by him here in the University of Kashmir. And really, it is not an award to the individual, it is an award and a recognition to the University of Kashmir.
Registrar Professor Musaddiq Amin Sahaf opined that appreciation should not be restricted to awards only, but the performance of teachers should also be taken into consideration.
We must have in all three activities, that is the teaching, research and as well as extension, like the services. If we cannot recognize good workers and bad workers, it's never possible human resource can be properly utilized. So therefore, I request Honorable Vice Chancellor that if we think in terms of evaluating every year through DICA, the evaluation of the teachers, why the good teachers are not being awarded for their contribution. If we do that, that will create a culture within the teaching system, and automatically the researchers will be also recognized. We are thankful to all those individuals and institutions that helped Professor Ramshoo to develop as a good researcher.
Some colleagues of Professor Ramshoo also spoke on the occasion.
Professor Ramshoo के रोज़ शब से वाकिफ़ हूँ और इनके पूरे ख़ानदान से मैंने गुज़श्ता 3 दहाइयों में ये देखा कि साइंस के साथ, साइंसी उलूम के साथ इनकी दिलचस्पी, वारफ्तगी, तनदेही एग्जेम्पलरी बेमिसाल साबित हुई और इन्हें जो एजाज़ और अवार्ड मिला, ये इनकी मुसलसल जदोजहद का नतीजा है. मैं अल्लामा इकबाल का एक शेर इनकी नज़र करता हूँ. बेमेहनत पैहम कोई जौहर नहीं खुलता, रोशन शररे तेश से है खाने फरहाद.
Thanking the university for this gesture, Professor Ramshoo said he feels humbled with this function.
Without losing the sense of humility and without sounding inappropriate, I just want to give a brief about what for I have been awarded this. As Dean Academic Affairs rightly said that it is the achievement for the last 5-6 years at the University of Kashmir that I have been awarded. And it is because my field of research is space technology, geoinformatics, computer sciences. And I have tried to translate the inputs from the space technology, particularly in understanding some of the climate change processes, some of the land surface processes, disasters. And my contribution for the last 5 years at the University of Kashmir, this was precisely the award that I have tried to translate the cutting-edge technology for the benefit of the society.
Vice Chancellor Professor Khurshid Iqbal Andrabi, while lauding the performance of Professor Ramshoo, said that initiating felicitation function is to encourage more teachers to bring such laurels to the university.
We do not necessarily have to create any logistic ways of discriminating between good and the bad. The system automatically will filter who is good, who is average, who is bad. So these are the kind of things we are sort of instrumenting to have this quality of education and research go up. I do not have to transform it overnight. It would, by the end of this decade, have shown its consequence, and then you would have people who would get due recognition in terms of the respect they earn at the university, in terms of the respect they earn by producing good quality research, and the respect they earn from other people that he is a better paid individual than I am.
The Department of Students' Welfare, in collaboration with Central University Kashmir and JK Chapter of Indian Institute of Public Administration, organized a day-long debate on the topic September 2014 flood was a man-made catastrophe. The function was held in the Gandhi Bhavan auditorium, in which a number of students from various colleges and universities of the valley participated and put forward their views.
Encroachments, no dredging, excessive siltation, deforestation, no planning, poor management, inefficient government, and you want me to believe and blame the nature for this? I'm sorry, I'm going to catch hold of the man this time. Talking of September 2014 floods, if you look into the records of the Department of Flood Control, department itself was not expecting the deluge of such magnitude. So here, I stand and I assert and I can prove that September 2014 flood was not a man-made catastrophe.
Cause number 1 is urbanization, cause number 2, the reduced forest cover, cause number 3, the erratic monsoon, and next is the global warming where the carbon emissions are held responsible. So I say that the first factor that we're holding responsible for this tragedy depends wholly and solely on our activities.
As per the reports, it already had submerged under 38 feet of water, and it remained so for the next 53 hours. I ask each and every single lady and gentleman out of you, tell me which human power, which human creation has the capacity and ability to rise the level of water at a rate of more than 1 feet per hour.
In every phase and aspect of a disaster, causes, vulnerability, preparedness, results, response and reconstruction. The contours of the disaster and the difference between who lives and who dies is to some lesser or greater extent a social calculus.
I can say as well as I can prove this. This was all due to nature. There was no role of man in this.
The Raqs, Gunde Alimar, which is no longer to be seen, they were again targeted at that time. Bohri Kadal, yes, the name exists, but the Kadal is no more. The bridge is no more. Nalaimar, Bab Dam, they were all converted.
Later, a valedictory function was held, in which participating students were felicitated. Government College for Women, MA Road, Srinagar, lifted the winning trophy. Liaison Officer Mr. Uzair Nisar, while presenting reportage of the event, said that the debate was informative and powerful with students, using research and intellect together to make their points. Speaking on the occasion, Dean Students' Welfare Professor Nilofa Khan said that students presented interesting viewpoints regarding September 2014 floods.
I must say the type of homework that our students had done was mind-blowing and very thought-provoking. The facts and figures that they presented. As I always say, that it's not important to win a cash prize or to win a trophy. It's very important to participate, to communicate your ideas, to communicate your creativity. That's what we saw in this debate today. I must say that something what we learned from them too. There have been debates on this topic for last 1 year, but I must say the type of arguments that our students gave were eye-opening to all of us.
Central University Kashmir Vice Chancellor Professor Mehrajuddin opined that participating in debates is more important than winning and losing.
Those who are not going to win any prize in this debate, but at the same time I advise them they must keep it up, and simply not getting a prize or not getting a trophy or not getting an award does not mean you have not done well. You have done your job, and obviously special thanks to those and special congrats to those who have been in a position to keep the flag high.
The Vice Chancellor of Kashmir University, Professor Khurshid Iqbal Andrabi, opined that it is difficult to know the causes of most disasters.
the extinction of so many species when human population was not as much as it is today. But then they still disappeared from the existence. Today we say that because of human intervention, species X and species Y is disappearing. What do you say when dinosaurs disappear? No human intervention, they still disappear. And you always argue against those statements by giving one theory or the other. But one of my own students who happens to do his postdoc in US these days, he happened to publish a paper the other day in Science where he transferred 250 human genes to yeast. Yeast still remained yeast. They thought that it would now somehow develop legs and eyes. It did not. So nature has its own way of expressing things, and it has always left a challenge for us to understand it much more than we actually think we have. So understanding nature is perhaps the best recourse.
He told students that nature has already identified areas of habitation, but then humans don't follow it.
You cannot start dismantling mountains, and dismantling of those mountains will also lead to some or the other kind of catastrophe. So nature balances its things on its own, sometimes, asking us not to associate yourself with regard to habitation in a certain area, please migrate to other areas. So these are calls of nature we have to appreciate. But then there is a human intervention dimension also, because this fundamentally Kashmir Valley existed as a basin, water basin. It's a valley, it's a basin. There are some raised areas like downtown and other areas where habitation was possible. But then you could perhaps make other areas possible only after you took care of about not destroying our canals, not intervening too much into areas which were technically flood prone. And then everything adds up together. But that adds up when a person dies also.
Vice Chairman IIPA Mr. A.M. Watali and Director Seminars IIPA Professor S.M. Afzal Qadri also spoke on the occasion.
This topic was selected because this was a burning issue which affected everybody in the valley, and it is the time that we should ponder over it. And our young minds, I was very happy today, I'm rather thrilled that majority of the students, majority of the participants threw up fresh ideas, new ideas.
I, on behalf of IIPA and on my personal behalf, thank the worthy Vice Chancellor, Professor Khurshid Andrabi Saab, for sparing some time out of his busy schedule to grace this valedictory function of the annual debate of the Indian Institute of Public Administration.
Cultural Officer Mr. Shahid Ali conducted proceedings of the function. To mark the Librarians' Day, Allama Iqbal Library organized a day-long seminar on digital library solutions in the Ibn Khaldun Auditorium. Librarian and Head of the Department of Library Sciences, Dr. Abdul Majid Baba, presented welcome address.
The movement of library science started from the United States in 1876. That is important year in the library profession. So many developments in the field of library and foreign science took place in that year. In fact, it was Melville Davy who started the library science education in a formal way in 1876. And in India, some of you know that Professor Ranganathan was basically a mathematician, assistant professor in Madras University. He continued as assistant professor in Madras University up to 1923. Then he was the first university librarian, joined Madras University, then proceeded to England for studying the library science, and after coming from England, started the library movement in India.
Director of Sales Higher Education at Pearson India Education, Mr. Abby John Amos, told students that there are 5 laws governing library sciences.
5 important laws that Dr. Ranganathan has envisaged for the library sciences concept in India. These 5 laws are the basic principles of our product making, particularly in terms of creating digital resources, digital assets, and digital learning capabilities and digital learning solutions in India. If I were to put in digital context of the 5 simple laws, I would say that these can be termed in 3 terminologies. One is access, second one is convenience, and third one is relevance.
Dean Social Sciences Professor Naseem Ahmed Shah, while delivering a keynote address, said library support is must for furthering the intellect of humans.
In India, most of the ongoing literacy programs do not provide long-term support to neo-literates unless they are provided effective support through reading and learning materials. They may again fall in the category of illiterates. Here, libraries play a vital role by providing reading and learning materials to all of them. All at the beginning of the 20th century, the libraries were part of awakening consciousness that saw education as an instrument for social change. After World War II, mainstream libraries gradually started to extend their services to community groups, and by 1960s, a special focus was set on reaching marginalized groups.
Dean Research Professor Sheikh Javed Ahmed opined that library is the heart of any institution.
I think library still continues to fulfill its role as the heart of the university, heart of the institution. This goes without saying. The library, the mandate of library, library directly contributes to the academic mission of the university, of the institution. It empowers students with knowledge and skills. And let me quote, I found it somewhere on the net, and that what is the role of librarian in the present context? And librarian is not simply a clerk who happens to work in the library. Just a quote, a librarian is a data hound, a guide, a mentor, and a teacher. The librarian is the interface between the rims of data that's available nowadays and the untrained but the motivated user.
Assistant Librarian Allama Iqbal Library, Mr. Muhammad Isaac Lone, conducted the proceedings of the function.
We have taken the theme keeping in view the September 2014 devastating floods in Kashmir Valley, in which rich and precious collection of print resources were severely damaged in many libraries of the valley.
A photo exhibition on renowned librarians and libraries was also displayed after the seminar. Now some important notifications. Date sheet for MA English and Economics 3rd semester is out. The first paper of 3rd semester for English students will be held on September 3rd and Economics on August 31 respectively. Interviews for the post of Deputy Registrar, Deputy Controller of Examination shall be conducted on September 6 at 2 p.m. in the committee room of the Vice Chancellor's Secretariat. To know more about these, log on to kashmiruniversity.ac.in or kashmiruniversity.net. With this, we come to the end of today's program. To watch all the episodes of Quest, log on to emmrckashmir.com. Send us your suggestions at our email address quest@emmrckashmir.com. Signing off with the thought of the week. I have never let my schooling interfere with my education.